Happy Sunday and happy St. Patrick's Day. I wanted to take a little bit of time today to talk about the importance of church in my life. I'm a God person. I wasn't always that way. It took me a long time to be able to have God in my life. And the one thing that I wanted for the longest time was to be able to go to church. So I'm always grateful when I can make it to church on Sunday. And the reason is all the jobs I've ever had have been retail, and I've been forced to work on Sundays. And even if I was able to make it to service, I'd have to go straight into work right afterwards. And it would kind of, kill that vibe, because whenever you go to church, you kind of want to soak in that message, and you want to, go home and have lunch and relax like everybody else. And I think a lot of people who work 9-to-5 jobs, they don't understand that. And sometimes they even take it for granted. People who do go to church, who are Christians, don't understand that there are people out there who would like to go to church and would like to worship God and cannot. And I know that for the longest time I was so frustrated. Like, before I had God in my life and before I was going to church, it made no difference. It was just another day. And as soon as I sort of turned my life to God, it was a dilemma, because I wanted to go to church, I wanted to be part of a community, and I couldn't. And I felt frustrated, and I felt like, I was being kept from God in a sense. And I remember Sundays being extremely depressing, because I knew that I wanted to be in church. I wanted to be able to worship, and now I can, and I'm grateful for that. So it's the plus side of not being able to work right now, is to go to church. And it's wonderful. I mean, not only am I going to church, but I'm involved in church. The disabled ministry that I'm part of, one of the leaders, I assist a class with her. And that has been really great, because it makes me feel like, okay, now I'm a part of church. It gives me a reason to get up on a Sunday morning, and I sit with them, and it's really great. And it's almost like a second family. I've really grown to care about these people. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about just gratitude, because I know that there's a lot of people out there, I'm sure, who do work retail. They work Saturdays and Sundays, and they're Christians. And it's a frustration. And I'm sure a lot of you are frustrated, because it just seems unfair. It just seems like you're being kept from worshiping your God, so that's because somebody else wants to make money off of you. And I think sometimes a lot of people who go to church on Sundays, they probably don't even stop and think that there's somebody out there who needs God and wants to go to church and wants to be part of a community and can't. So I'm always grateful to be able to go to church. I never thought in my life I'd be excited to go to church on a Sunday, but here I am. And yeah, I feel like God is definitely working in my life. And even though there are days where I feel anxious or I feel depressed, I'm starting to realize that I am a lot better off now than I was 2 or 3 years ago, when I didn't have God in my life and I wasn't a part of a community. I feel like I'm a part of something really special, and I feel like working with the disabled is my calling. And I felt like before God I was totally hopeless, and now I have, a glimmer of hope. I still struggle with depression, I still struggle with anxiety, and I talk a lot about feeling disconnected, and I realized as I was driving home from church that I'm actually more connected than I really realized. Being a part of this disabled ministry is, I'm connected with other people, and then doing ESL and doing volunteer work. So sometimes I forget, and I have to just have that bit of gratitude. And so and it's part of the reason why I'm wary about getting another job because I don't want to have to. I've grown accustomed now to being able to go to church, and I might have to give that up, and that's something that I'm not happy about. And I don't. For people who don't go to church or don't have God in their lives, they may not realize the importance of that. You know, the importance of taking that time every Sunday to be with God and to be around other people who worship God and to pray. So yeah, I don't know. But I feel blessed today. I feel grateful that I am a part of a wonderful church that I really love. And I hope that I continue to be a part of the church, even when I'm working. And I want to say one last thing. I just remember when I was working at, I was working somewhere at a department store, and they were paying me good money. I was seasonal. And I remember somebody saying, "Oh, you're going to miss Sunday because you get time and a half." And all I could think about was, you know, church is more important. Church is more important than making money. I need to make money, but not at the expense of my soul, if that makes any sense. So yeah, so for anybody who's working a 9 to 5, who's working a retail job right now, and you're a Christian, you want to be part of church, and you can't make it, my thing to you is that God loves you. God's everywhere, and even though you can't physically make it to church, the world becomes your church. That you know, you can still be a Christian, you can still read the Bible, and you can still connect with other Christians, even though you can't make it to church. And I pray that, you know, if you're at work right now, that you can find a way to connect with the church. That's it.